going on, guys? Please join me in welcoming Laura here. Laura, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
Good. We'll get started with a little bit of your background. Why don't you tell us about where you grew up, where did you go to school, things of that nature?
Right. So I grew up in Baltimore.
Okay.
And went to school, private school in Baltimore, from kindergarten to third grade, and then fourth and fifth I went to public school, and then for the rest of my years I went to the private school again.
Okay. So I know we're going to be talking about your business, which is, you are a graphic designer.
I am.
I kind of wanted to talk about how did you kind of end up in it, or what kind of led you to this career, and what kind of led you to start your own business?
Okay, so that's a huge question. So I started off right after I graduated from high school. I started working for a what was it called? A advertising company.
Okay.
So while I was there, I had started out just doing kind of like odd jobs, and the owner had said something to me about starting to be like a helper for the main graphic designer. So yeah, I did 2 6-month courses just to learn how to do Illustrator and Photoshop.
Okay.
And
now, is that a certification process, or is that just like something?
No,
okay.
It's just to learn how to do it.
Okay.
Because they are programs that are like just to go in and try and like fiddle around, figure out what's going on. It's kind of difficult. So it's just
makes sense.
Yeah, it just like kind of gives you a crash course on how to do different things.
Gotcha.
But yeah, so that's how I started. I was junior graphic designer for 4 years, and then me and my family moved up to Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And so I was like the only graphic designer at this next company. Yeah, that's what I did for about a year.
Okay.
And I was doing really well at it. And the good thing about working at that company, as far as like graphic design, is it kind of taught me how to work under pressure.
Okay.
And working there helped me with being able to juggle very many different projects.
Right. Okay.
So that was a good thing. So I worked there for a year. 2020, I decided this is the year that I'm going to start graphic design. Like
fantastic, in the middle of the pandemic.
Well, it was before the pandemic
okay.
started.
I was gonna say that is. I mean, how did that affect you? Because like you're now running your own business at this point, and then pandemic hits.
Well, funnily enough, as far as graphic design is concerned, people always need it.
Okay.
Like everything you look at is designed by a graphic designer somewhere.
Right.
Even all the different flyers that you saw, like for making sure people wear masks, and even the little plaques that you see on the ground that say "step here" and "stay this far apart." That's all done by a graphic designer. So
I never really thought about that.
Yeah. So it never was something that was like, I'm not making enough money for this. Because it's always needed, no matter what.
Right.
But yeah, I started that in 2020, before the pandemic. Once the pandemic hit, it was a little like, whoa. But it wasn't a huge transition for me, because I was already kind of working at home anyhow.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't like, oh, I need to work at home and I can't do this, whatever. Because, all my correspondence is online. So.
Gotcha. So what was like the hardest thing to start a business? Like, I'm assuming it's not like you just don't wake up and be like, okay, I have a business now, you know?
The hardest thing about starting a business, I would say, for me personally, marketing myself.
Okay.
Because...
Yeah, you are in marketing.
Yes, I'm in marketing. I can market other people. But as far as myself, like going out and like I'm good at my job. That is a difficult thing for me to do.
Okay.
And so that's one of the hardest things.
Gotcha.
And kind of like putting myself out there. Then the other thing is kind of along the same vein is making sure that I don't undercharge.
Okay.
So
that was going to be my next question. How does that, in your world, how does that work? Like, do you charge by the hour or by the project, or?
I typically charge by the project.
Okay.
Because that way you can factor in how many changes, because, I mean, with working together that
right.
There's many changes.
I'm a pain in the ass. It's okay. Just go ahead and say it.
No, it's part of being a graphic designer that like the client is always going to have different changes and
right.
needs and wants and whatever. So in coming up with a charge, you have to factor in your knowledge, how much time it's going to take you to do it. Then you have to add on time for potential changes.
Now, I did realize that you mentioned that there's a certain amount of changes that goes into it that you already allowed the customer.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you're on retainer for Flytech, which is the company I work for. How does that side of the thing work?
As far as with retainer, it's just hourly for them.
Okay.
So it.
Because I give you a lot of changes.
Yeah. So it's like it's kind of unlimited changes.
Okay.
Because it's a guaranteed hourly pay for me.
Gotcha.
So it's kind of a win on both sides.
Right.
Because typically from project to project, I would charge per project, and depending on the price, I would charge like a percentage before I start. But it's not steady income. But with a retainer, it's more of a steady income because there's a guaranteed amount of work that I'm going to get.
Right. Now I want to move on to how your day-to-day looks like. So how does your world work and how does that look?
Well, it changes very often.
Okay.
So one day I could go in and be kind of twiddling my thumbs, and on those days I will just like go onto YouTube and try and find something that I don't know about and try and expand my knowledge for future reference. And then sometimes I'm extremely busy.
Okay.
So since I have a retainer, I allot a certain amount of time each day for the retainer clients and then work around the retainer hours with the other clients' projects. Okay. So it's going back from Illustrator, InDesign, Photoshop, just whatever project I have, it's just trying to work and get those done.
So just bouncing between each of the things, and I'm assuming you have to like talk to the clientele or clients. I'm talking to the clients is mostly like before I start the project. Okay.
To get the full idea of what they want.
Understood.
And so when I get the full idea of what they want, then I'm like, okay, just if I have any questions, I'll let you know.
Okay.
I will just do my thing. Once I do that, I'll come to you and be like, okay, this is what I have for you.
Interesting.
I'm not sure if that's how all designers work, but that's how I work.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I feel like when we were working, we're still working together in a lot of projects, but the ones that are completed, I had a vague idea, like I didn't really know what I was looking for, but then when you presented, I'm like, okay, that's kind of what I wanted. So how do you translate those thoughts into paper?
I guess my imagination is constantly going.
Okay.
So, and then also throughout the years, I've seen a lot of different types of aspects. So a lot of times when a client is saying there's something specific they want, they've gotten that idea from somewhere.
Gotcha.
So my job is to kind of juggle between what the client wants, but make it similar to what has already been created, but not so similar that it's like, oh, this is the same thing.
Right.
So it's just kind of like a
balancing of
a bunch of different variables and imagination.
Gotcha. Okay, so what do you enjoy the most about being a graphic designer?
Art.
Okay.
Just like I get very excited about just different art concepts and mixing of different colors and just how different colors kind of portray different feelings.
Okay.
And moods and so if you want something kind of to be portrayed as happy and light and whatever, it's the bright colors and like often with children you have like kind of the primary colors with green, red, blue, yellow, those really bright, vibrant colors. But then if you're going in the medical field where you want something more calm and
serious?
Well, not exactly serious, but calm and reassuring.
Oh, okay.
You go with blue.
Okay.
And
interesting.
Like that kind of thing.
Okay.
I find very intriguing.
What is the least enjoyable part of your job then?
Least enjoyable, probably like billing, accounting, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Because I mean, it's me and my business all by myself, so I have to take care of all the aspects.
What is your career goal now that you're?
Now that I'm a graphic designer, I would eventually like to hire people. Okay. And kind of run the business more so than actually doing the graphic design.
Okay, interesting.
Well, that's just kind of the trajectory of running a graphic design business. Eventually, you're not going to be doing as much of the design.
Right.
More so overseeing.
Right.
The different jobs that are coming in.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I would like to work with a team of graphic designers.
That sounds awesome. Yeah.
That would be fun.
Anything else you want to talk? If somebody wants to get into this field, what kind of advice would you give them?
Learn.
Learn what?
Just like if you're interested in like drawing, just immerse yourself in the type of drawing that you want to do. Go on YouTube, watch all the YouTube videos, try them out. There are like hundreds of forums online that you can submit your work and people critique it and give you advice and ideas and that kind of thing. It's just, I mean, the cliche saying practice makes perfect is like literally the only way that you can get better at being a graphic designer is doing it.
Gotcha.
And I mean, people are going to make mistakes. Clients are going to be like, hate that.
Right.
But it's all like a learning experience.
Gotcha. Well, thank you for your time. But before I, end this interview, I wanted to make sure you plug in your business. That way, my viewers can come to you if they need anything.
All right. My business is Flair Design. It's FlairDesign.us.
Okay.
Is the website.
How can customers get in touch with you?
They can get in touch with me through the website.
Okay.
Or they can email me. And I am on Instagram and LinkedIn.
Perfect.
All the same, FlairDesign.us.
Awesome. Well, guys, I will put the information down below. Please keep an eye out. If you are interested in anything like that, please reach out to Laura here. Well, Laura, thank you for your time.
Yes, thank you.
If you are interested in a specific career path or know someone who'd like to be interviewed, please email us at askalutely@gmail.com. That's basically absolutely without the BS.